Salaam, Tanzania. Kauli mbiu ni mazingira wezeshi kibiashara kwa maendeleo jumuishi na endelevu ya viwanda. Zimebaki siku 17. Mkutano wa 39 wa wakuu wa nchi za serikali za Jumuiya ya Maendeleo Kusini mwa Afrika SADC utafanyika jijini Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Kauli mbiu ni mazingira wezeshi kibiashara kwa maendeleo jumuishi na endelevu ya viwanda. Zimebaki siku 17.
In Capital News tonight, President Magufuli swears in new minister and deputy minister. Kenya's Finance Minister, top officials arrested for corruption. And in sports, Azam and Simba players to join Taifa Stars squad. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. President Dr. John Pombe Magufuli has sworn in George Boniface Simba Chawene as the Minister of State in the Vice President's Office for Union and Environment, as well as Hussein Mohamed Bashe as the Deputy Minister of Agriculture. The swearing-in ceremony of the two leaders was held at State House in Dar es Salaam and attended by Vice President Samia Suluhu Hassan, Chief Justice Professor Ibrahim Hamis Juma, Chief Secretary Ambassador John Kijazi, ministers and deputy ministers, as well as permanent secretaries and leaders of security organs.
In all the challenges the Sugar Board gets, it is doing a very good job, but it is being significantly opposed. I was waiting for the Prime Minister to dismantle it, and if he had done so, he would have also got it. The body is working well, but is vehemently opposed to by sugar entrepreneurs who are used to using sugar as white gold, which I said no to, as there is a very small sugar gap in our country, and it cannot be exaggerated to the extent we receive substandard expired sugar. I want you to go and oversee all this. I recognize the foundation of our union is not just what is written within the Constitution and turned into laws, but the foundation of our union is a historical one and is built more on understanding. That's written words. As I enter into office, I will work with and be an advisor to the Vice President to ensure our union is one that lasts. Mr. President, I'm familiar with the agricultural sector, and I thank the Speaker who gave me the opportunity to be on the Budget Committee, where I have been able to learn about many of the challenges that this country faces. 60 to 70% of Tanzanians are in this sector. You have said we must serve and help those less fortunate, and many of them are in this sector. I have heard and read about the challenges at the committee, and now I'm going to see and address their challenges out in the field.
The electrical engineer of MV Mapinduzi ship has been found dead after hanging himself when the ship was on its way to Pemba from Unguja in Zanzibar. The permanent secretary of the Ministry of Works, Communication and Transport, Mustafa Aboud Jumbe, said that the electrical engineer prior to his death had been seen at the port with other employees.
The captain informed us, as well as ship leadership, and the government decided that the ship should return, and it did. It had reached near Tumbatu Island, and once it arrived, we notified the police and other relevant authorities, who then entered the ship and removed the body of the deceased. 4 detectives and 2 SMA officers have been directed to carry on with investigations, and the move has been made to ensure the 485 passengers who have no involvement with this can resume their trip.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa said that Tanzania has become among few countries in the world which have succeeded in preserving the historical origins of man, which show they began in Tanzania. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa made this statement during celebrations to mark 60 years since the skull of Zinjanthropus was discovered by Dr. Mary Leakey at Olduvai Gorge, as well as the inauguration of Dr. Mary Leakey Museum.
The launch brought great understanding to scientists and historians on the significant contribution from the African continent. Tanzania joins very few countries in the world lucky enough to have preserved these historical fossils from millions of years ago. Many remains of old hominin fossils such as the Zinjanthropus or Australopithecus boise, Homo habilis, Homo sapiens that have been there for 3.6 million years to 200,000 years have been discovered and continue to be discovered here.
Retired President Alhaji Ali Hassan Mwinyi has expressed his dissatisfaction on misuse of a picture he had taken with the former Minister of State in the Vice President's Office of Environment and Union Issues, January Makamba, on social media at a time when the former minister's appointment has just been revoked.
So kupenda kuona picha namna ile katika mazingira haya.
I honestly did not like to see a picture like that in this situation. The picture is a normal one because many people come to see me here and we sit and talk, then take a picture as a memory, but not in this situation. I was not surprised that he released it, but it was surprising to me at the time. I'm happy with the way President Magufuli is running the country. We went from being a poor one and now we have 8 planes. When would we have bought them? Everyone has brought development based on their efforts, but he has gone the extra mile and made many significant strides for the development of the country.
Kijana yule kaandika kitabu.
2 casualties out of 22 who were involved in a road accident between a minibus and Land Cruiser that occurred along the main road of Kahama to Kakola have been admitted at Kahama District Hospital in serious condition. In the accident which occurred last night, 6 people perished.
2 casualties were treated and have been allowed to go home, but 3 are not doing well. 2 have been taken to Bugando Hospital for referral. 19 are admitted here. There was a head-on collision between a minibus and a Land Cruiser. Some of the passengers died at the scene. A vehicle with registration number T477ATC collided with a minibus with registration number T710AZZ. The minibus had passengers on board, whereby 6 of them died.
The Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute will use the 39th SADC Summit to be held in Dar es Salaam next month to promote its services in Southern African countries so that patients will no longer have to go out of the African continent to get medical services. This was said in Dar es Salaam by the Managing Director of the Jakaya Kikwete Cardiac Institute, Professor Mohamed Chanabi.
Sio lazima mgonjwa mtoe nje ya bara la Afrika.
It is not necessary to refer a patient out of Africa or to another country where the cost is too high. We offer similar services at an international level. We would like them to know that we are here and what it is that we do. We will show them the statistics. We've treated at least 3,000 patients and 250,000 patients who attend the clinic. There is a team ready to attend to patients.
Kuna timu ambayo iko tayari.
And residents of Mailikumi village in Mtwara District Council have called on the government to ensure the contractor constructing the 50-kilometer Mtwara road that passes through Mnivata village, Tandahimba and Newala is completed before the rains begin.
The project has reached 60% and we expect to complete it by the end of October. Surfacing is left, which has now reached 26 kilometers and pavement layers at 37%. The challenge we face is at the part in town where there are infrastructures that must be removed, such as water and telecom lines. If the road is delayed, there will be many effects, as our road is to become an economic one, which can cause problems for cargo drivers transporting their goods. But if it is completed, it will help us immensely. Thus, I asked the President to supervise them. We cannot lose the opportunity to ask the government. Everything is about timing, and I believe that we, the Secretariat, should receive it, and we, as the government, will send requests to the Minister of Transport and hear his response.
The Minister of Livestock and Fisheries, Luhaga Mpina, has called on Tanzanians to support government efforts in bringing about development. Minister Mpina made the statement during a public meeting held at Malwilo village in Miatu district, Simiyu region.
I would like to say that the type of major changes which our president is making have never been seen before in this century. I would like to warn you that there are some people who are spreading false information and compiling false statistics in order to deceive the people and to realize their own hidden motives, which they themselves only know. But in President Magufuli, they have finally gotten someone who will honestly oversee all of the projects which their money will be funding. We are still being affected by the invasion of elephants into the farms and residential areas of our people. This, of course, has made our people to live in poverty. Also, our people now live in fear for their safety. In addition, we are calling upon you to present this serious concern of ours, which has made us shed tears, to the Parliament so that the law can be changed. We hope that the law can be changed in a way that reflects how we have suffered because of the invasion of elephants.
And the government has started to open up roads leading to Mpanga Kipengere Game Reserve in Njombe region for tourists to be able to visit, as well as communities living near the conservation area.
Tunajitahidi sasa kuboresha miundombinu ndani ya hifadhi ya Mpanga.
I would like to say that it is well known that the Kipengere Mpanga Game Reserve has been bothered by the problem of poor roads for a long time. This particular challenge has made it difficult to get to the game reserve in order to view some of the attractions which the reserve has to offer. In light of that, I would like to highlight the fact that we have started to take steps to address this problem. As you can see, those are machines which are grading the roads in the park, and these graders will continue to grade the roads up until the Kimani waterfalls. As I was saying, in the first phase of the project, the graders will grade the roads up until the Kimani waterfalls. In the second phase of the project, the roads will be graded so as to reach other waterfalls in the reserve.
Kwa kweli ni habari njema za kufurahisha na tumejionea.
I would like to say that the fact that these roads in the Kipengere Mpanga Game Reserve are being improved is a very good development for our community. Another thing which I would like to highlight is how the community in the game reserve is happy over the fact that with the bridge having already been built at the Kimani waterfalls, and now with these roads being graded, there will be available infrastructure to help the community members engage in their daily activities. I would just like to note that there are many attractions in the Kipengere Mpanga Game Reserve. However, the major challenge in the past was that there were not enough good roads which we could use to visit those attractions. Nevertheless, now that I see that a grader is grading these roads, I expect that very soon we will be able to use them in order to get to the famous attractions which this game reserve is renowned for.
And that is all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, Kenya's Finance Minister Henry Rotich and other Treasury officials have been arrested on corruption and fraud charges related to a multi-million-dollar project to build 2 massive dams. Minister Rotich and his principal secretary and the chief executive of Kenya's Environmental Authority handed themselves in to the police on Monday after the country's chief prosecutor ordered the arrest and prosecution of the minister and 27 other top officials.
Existing policies in place for safeguarding the public interest, it should not have cost Kenya shillings 63 billion. The evidence established malpractices that impacted on our public debt. A Treasury report dated 3rd March 2017 directed the DCI to effect the arrest and immediate arraignment. Dr. Susan Jemtai Koech, Principal Secretary, Ministry of East African Community.
And a report by the United Nations Population Fund, UNFP, has shown an increase in the problem of child pregnancies in Uganda and that the situation has affected the education performance of the girl child.
And the right to be free from violence. Poverty reduction is slower and development is slower.
The population has grown.
Is it appealing? The population has increased, so has the number of those seeking our service.
Than it was way back then.
In Kigali, Rwanda, residents have commended the government on various infrastructure development projects, which include expansion of roads and construction of bridges, which they claim will reduce traffic congestion and floods during the rainy season.
This construction will be a big help to us because more often than not, we've suffered the effects of flooding and traffic jam. Once this is complete, then all this will be history. We're happy with the expansion. Now we'll walk freely. This construction took into consideration the challenges we were facing, particularly during heavy rains, which left our roads flooded. So we've decided to repair bridges and expand the roads so as to deal away with flooding and traffic jam.
Residents in Kilifi along the coast of Kenya have called on the government to allocate them land promised to them 2 years after President Uhuru Kenyatta gave them land ownership certificates.
People from outside have taken more and a lot of my villagers have missed out. I sent a list of names, but it was not used. Some names were taken out. When they came, we helped them mark boundaries. I built here and I have children who are still at school. When the time comes, I'll be forced to leave and allow someone with a title deed to settle here.
And that's where we leave off with international news, but do stay with us. We'll be back with business news after this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back and on to business news. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Professor Palamagamba Kabudi, has said that economic investment and business relations between China and Tanzania have continued to grow, particularly after the recent visit of a delegation from Zhejiang.
This delegation is as a result of the existing agreement, which has enabled Zhejiang constituent in China to come and invest and trade in Tanzania. One key area that we discussed about was on tourism, whereby we expect to receive a lot of tourists through the Travel Africa plan.
Tanzania Agricultural Development Bank, TADB, has said that it is committed to empowering the livestock sector so as to enable it to contribute more revenue to the government.
We planned on how we can bring farmers together, and for those who already are working together, they need more education on livestock keeping. What we will do as a bank is to provide finance to farmers so that they can apply what they've learned.
And lentil farmers in Shinyanga have expressed concern on increase of middlemen buying lentils from farmers by using buckets to measure the produce, a situation that has incurred them heavy losses.
The people who buy from us use large tins to measure. You find a sack has at least 120 kilograms. It is reduced to just 90 kilograms. We're suffering so much. We had hoped to buy maize once we'd sold the harvest, but we have no food. If the union would assist us in the way, because the containers used to measure weight are too large, they end up stealing from us. Now a sack sells between 60,000 to 70,000, and in some areas the price goes as high as 100 to 110,000. At the end of the day, the farmer ends up suffering. Allow traders to buy directly at a good price. Once arrangements have been completed, we will begin next year.
That's all for business. Sports is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment and going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's going to be dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lent.
in sports news. Simba and Azam players who were named in the Taifa Stars team that will face Kenya in CHAN qualifiers will join the squad tonight ahead of the game on July the 28th.
We're playing Kenya on 20th. It is a tough game. There is always stiff competition in the game due to being neighbors. And if you remember, recently we were playing in AFCON together. So we know how tough the game is. According to the program, most players are coming from their teams which are in pre-season. So it is just continuation. And at the end of the day, we'll find out which philosophy to use in making sure we get good results in the game.
Players who were chosen to participate in the Basketball Without Borders training camp of August of this year will get the opportunity to be coached by NBA coaches as well as academies coaches from the United States.
This year we are sure that it will take place here. When all the information is provided, we will air it out. In the past 2 months, we have been selecting under 16 and under 18 players from different parts of Tanzania, and we finalized the process yesterday. We have obtained 35 boys and 30 girls.
David De Gea has said that he would love to be named Manchester United captain as the goalkeeper prepares to extend his stay with the club. Here is more.
The 28-year-old is understood to be preparing to sign an improved contract that is likely to run to 2025. He's keen to take on the captaincy with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer yet to confirm who will get the role after Antonio Valencia's summer exit. I've been captain for some games, De Gea said. De Gea, who joined in 2011 and has been the club's player of the year on a record 4 occasions, spelled out his ambitions for next season. We have to improve a lot. We're Manchester United. We need to fight for trophies. Juan Mata hopes Paul Pogba will be part of that fight amid uncertainty of the France international's future.
Real Madrid and Gareth Bale are working on his exit from the Bernabeu after 6 years in Spain, with China offering him a way out.
He's admitted he hoped a departure was imminent. Having previously insisted that Bale did not want to leave, progress is now being made on a move with both the club and the player hope to conclude within the week. Zidane said Real were working on Bale's departure after leaving him out of the squad to face Bayern Munich and Houston in pre-season. He said he hoped there will be a solution and perhaps within a day or two. Despite that, there is still work to be done and there is no guarantee yet that a deal will be concluded.
United have rejected a €54 million bid from Internazionale for Romelu Lukaku and informed the Italian club that it will need a significantly higher offer to succeed in luring the player away from Old Trafford. Here is more on this story.
Lukaku missed a pre-season friendly between the two clubs in Singapore on Saturday after complaining of an ankle injury and was seen talking to Inter officials on the pitch after a 1-0 victory for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team, courtesy of a second-half winner from Mason Greenwood. Inter are now contemplating lodging another offer, and Antonio Conte, who confirmed his interest in the player on Friday, made it clear again after the match that he was still keen to take the Belgian striker to Serie A. 2 years since moving to Old Trafford, Lukaku is keen for the transfer to happen, but United rejected the bid out of hand because it fell considerably short of their valuation for the former Everton player.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. I'm Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and have a good night.